Bleeding Purple Podcast.
This is a 52-yard try left pass with 31 seconds to go. Snap, spot, kick, up, distance, fine. It is no good. He missed it.
Talk good and loud so they all can hear you. Make a short speech so they all will listen to you. Then sit down so they all will like you. Thank you.
Tickled his foot, he's in a good place. I want Teddy. I don't want him going somewhere else.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Tyler Haig, and we are joined by Adam Patrick, who is new co-host going forward. Thanks for being here, Adam. Thanks for joining the show.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah, man. Let's start with the Vikings-Ravens. Vikings win 24-16. Field goal fest 2017. Kind of boring to watch. Keenum, 20 for 31, 188 yards. Murray played great, 18 carries for 113 yards, 1 touchdown. What else did you see in that game that kind of left an impression on you, I guess?
Well, Kai Forbath, he hit those 6 field goals. Not, the extra point, but, I guess that's too much to ask.
Exactly, because of course he missed the extra point.
Yeah, but he scored 18 points in the game, so I guess that makes up for it. The offensive line played really well again. I think they've allowed like 2 sacks in Keenum's last 4 starts this year, so that's pretty good. Defensive line looked beastly again. Danielle Hunter getting in there right away, and Everson with 2 sacks, and Anthony Barr looks really well. Looks really good. Just all over the place like he used to be, not like last year, where I don't know where he was.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's having fun out there again, and that's good. But, their defense looks really scary, and the running game looks good. It's just the quarterback that,
that is
a little bit more out of that position.
Well, and even, statistically, Keenum didn't, that's not a bad line, 20 for 31, 188 yards. He did throw an interception, but even that
that wasn't his.
Yeah, that wasn't his fault. That was...
No, well, it could be his fault, but it wasn't like he threw it right to the receiver and no one was there. It's just, it was underthrown, but still, Treadwell had a chance to get that too at the same time.
For sure. Pleasantly surprised with Murray. Looks like he's in shape or whatever, because I guess that was kind of the big. He wasn't in game shape. He looked really slow his first game, but he looks like a beast now. And it's
a big guy.
Yeah, we talked about it, and it's so different for me to see a running back that is shaped that way when we have seen so much Adrian Peterson and so much fast twitch with McKinnon and to see a guy like Murray come in and run the ball the way he does it's really really interesting as a Vikings fan, and I think is a good thing for that offense going forward to have him as an option with McKinnon.
Oh, for sure. It's unlike with Dalvin Cook and McKinnon, they're kind of a similar sort of player. I guess that's why McKinnon wasn't seeing the field a lot, but now that you have Murray pretty much, up to the level that probably the Vikings wanted when they signed him, and McKinnon, getting in there and catching passes out of the backfield, it's a really good combination, and it's working out well so far for the Vikings. They haven't really had a bad game on the ground since Cook went out. I think I saw a stat that actually said they're averaging more rushing yards per game without Dalvin Cook than they were with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess that makes sense because they have been more productive from a just kind of ground and pound kind of, that they've been more successful that way since he's been out. So I guess that makes a little bit of sense. You had mentioned the defense a little bit. Barr, I agree, has looked great. Griffin, unbelievable. Sendejo and that suspension. Well, first let's talk about that hit. Do you think that is Well, I mean, obviously it's illegal because he's been suspended and, whatever, and fined and all that. But do you think that is the kind of hit that the NFL is trying to avoid, or is that just kind of something that kind of gets lost in the shuffle because it looked really ugly? Because I feel like now there are plays where the offense, or excuse me, the play looks too violent. It's not that the guy, went after his head or, helmet to helmet or anything like that. It just looks too nasty. And so they feel like they have to throw a flag. Do you think this was one of those, or do you think this was an actual illegal hit?
Well, technically it was illegal because he hit him in the head. And yeah, those are the hits the league wants to get rid of. But it wasn't. I didn't see it as like intentional or anything like that, because as he was going to hit him, Wallace was going towards the ground, so he was probably aiming more for his chest area, and then Wallace was, going towards the ground and ended up just, hitting the crap out of his head.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just the way Sendejo always plays. He's flying all over the place, and most of the time it hasn't really worked out. Sometimes it does, but usually it ends with like Xavier Rhodes getting a concussion because he was knocked out by his own teammate or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, just because. What were you saying?
I guess the real question that I wanted to ask was, is that flagged because of the aftermath of the hit? And is that the kind of play that they're trying to get rid of, or is that like a flaggable hit? Would you have thrown the flag if you were the ref?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I mean, just based on how they call games nowadays, even if Wallace wasn't knocked out, I think they still would have called that just because of where he was hit. And like with the Trevathan hit, he actually got I believe he got suspension reduced from 2 games to 1.
Yep.
Just probably because it wasn't intentional as well. Because he was just going in to try and knock Devontae Adams down to the ground, and he just caught him.
Yeah, exactly. And that I feel like originally it was more to get the head hunting kind of stuff out of there, but I feel like at this point in the NFL that is basically gone. So now these, I don't know, sometimes it seems to me like they're getting flagged for the aftermath of what was, from the defender's perspective, they did everything they were supposed to do. Like Sendejo, it's a shoulder hit. He's trying to hit him in the chest. Like you said.
It was kind of weird how we didn't know about the flag until like after the commercial break.
Yeah.
I think I saw a clip on Twitter or something of the ref, like right before when they were showing the replay, they had the ref like in the corner of the screen, like just like tossing the flag like nonchalantly on the ground so no one would see it, and so that way it'd be like, oh, there's the flag.
Exactly.
But I think Wallace getting knocked out, that was going to be a flag no matter what.
For sure. And I'm not saying that I necessarily disagree with that being flagged, because that is the kind of stuff that you don't want to see a guy unconscious on a football field. You don't
disagree with it being called, because that's the way they call stuff now, but you wish that maybe they didn't call stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
These days. Yeah. Just let them play.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's football.
It is. And that conversation that's maybe a separate conversation, but at what point do you decide that, well, it's football and that's just, football's kind of violent and sometimes that happens. I mean, we could go on for a long time about that conversation. But all right, so a win against the Ravens, and now on to London for Cleveland. Cleveland is 0-7, and they're missing their 2 best players. They're arguably their best player on offense, and now
Myles Garrett and Joe Thomas. Yeah.
So this, I mean, from a Vikings,
so they got a real good shot.
Yeah, has to be a win, right? Has to be a win.
Getting blown out.
Yeah. But the Vikings fan is panicking right now Because everything is pointing to trap game. Everything is telling me that the Vikings are going to lose this game because all of this, they should win. They have to win. There's no, I mean, you have to beat the Browns, but it's the Vikings. What is the percentage? Well, first of all, here, let's start with this. Case Keenum, he's on the injury report, chest issues. What is the percentage, because obviously Sam's out, Teddy's not been activated, what is the percent chance that we see Kyle Sloter on Sunday?
0.
0? All right, good,
Yeah.
good.
I think we'd see Teddy before we saw him.
Do you think so? Do you know what the rules are for, because they have to activate him to the active roster or whatever, and they had the 21, they're in the 21-day window here, but they can activate him whenever they want?
He has to be activated within the 21 days.
Okay, but they could conceivably they could activate him today
and not play him
and have him available to play. Okay,
but then at the same time they'd have to make a roster spot for him, which I think they'll do by putting Sam Bradford on injured reserve.
Yeah,
but that remains to be seen. Even though they have like 7 wide receivers or whatever, and people think that Rodney Adams, but I don't think they'll do that because I think he was like a 4th round pick. I think that's a little too high just to like cut
loose.
And get. But yeah, I think Keenum was a full participant in practice today being Thursday, so he's probably just on injury report for just because of rules. He has to be. But I have been hearing some whispers of possibly Teddy possibly playing, but nothing, just whispers, nothing too amazing. But
I had seen, somebody had tweeted that that the Vikings had ruled out playing him because it's going to be a slippery field condition or whatever.
Pro football stuff.
Yeah. And that immediately, in my head, I was like, oh, geez, they're maybe going to play him? Are we that close? Is this happening right now? Because I thought for sure that they would wait until after the bye to even start addressing Teddy as an option to play, let alone as an option,
Yeah. Well, he practiced today in a cow pasture in the rain, so if they're worried about that field, I don't think they would let him practice today. So
exactly, on a 60-yard field while it's raining in London.
Yeah.
Seems
I think they'd be a little more that than an actual playing field.
Yes, exactly. So we could maybe rule that out. That would, well, let me ask you this from going forward past this week, do you just activate Teddy and go with Teddy because of all kinds of different reasons, but just instead of Keenum and with that situation, do you just go with Teddy?
I think you activate him no matter what, whether or not you play him the week he's activated or not. That's something that I guess remains to be seen. Because of who their opponents are coming up, you've got the Browns. Greg Williams is their defensive coordinator. He's a fan of Vikings fans. Should be aware of him. And then they got at Washington after they come off the bye, which is at that lovely field where Adrian Peterson tore his ACL up.
Everybody has wrecked their knee on that field.
And then they'll play the Rams at home in US Bank Stadium. And that defense is pretty good. They got Wade Phillips coaching them, and they're pretty good. So maybe, what do they got, Thanksgiving? Let me see, I got the schedule up here. Yeah, maybe,
and then Thanksgiving, and then the
Thanksgiving is starting to sound more and more like the best case scenario that the Vikings would like. That's not to say that they wouldn't put him in before if Keenum gets hurt or play really play like poop. But I would say best case scenario would be Thanksgiving for Teddy to start. Because it's in the Dome, it's in Detroit.
How short of a leash do you think they're going to have on Keenum? If it's 2 interceptions in the first half this week, do you think they put Teddy in, or will it have to be poor play over a longer stretch?
Yeah, I think it would have to be he probably has to play really bad. Who got pulled? Oh, the Browns quarterback.
Yeah.
He got pulled last week. He threw 2 interceptions in the first half.
Yeah.
And they pulled him at the half.
Yeah, and looked completely inept. I mean, like those weren't just like, oh man, interception. Those were not
the thing with
anybody misreading and misdiagnosing and
The thing with the Vikings though is if Keenum was playing bad, they've been able to turn to the run game to bail them out. So, if the run game's not working and Keenum's playing like poop, then they might think about taking him out, but.
Yeah,
I think it depends. Like, what if they're getting blown out by the Browns? I probably would turn the TV off anyways.
Yeah.
But if they're getting blown out by the Browns, I don't think they would put Teddy in a situation like that. That's
I probably
not
would
worth
have
it.
to buy a new TV if they get blown out by the Browns.
I think there's a video on YouTube. It's like a famous video.
I've seen the one
of the kid like they played. They were playing the Packers, and I think it was when they played them in the playoffs when Joe Webb played, and he got super pissed off. And I think he lifted up like his sound bar or something, and he had like a glass coffee table, and he just took the sound bar and smashed it through the glass coffee table. So that's Vikings fans in a nutshell.
Exactly. And Joe Webb is your guy. You didn't think like before that game that maybe there was a chance that because Joe
can't
Webb
believe Joe Webb didn't lead him to beat the Packers in Lambeau.
I will say this though about that game. That is the greatest example of that you can point to, where it's like backup quarterback's the best, man. He's so much better. Joe Webb. Go back and watch that. You thought Joe Webb was awesome because he was the backup quarterback and Ponder was your starter.
Throwing screens into the dirt.
Exactly. That's why backups are backups. That's why they're backups. That's why.
Yeah, it's bad when you miss Christian Ponder.
Exactly, which is exactly what. Those were dark days, man. That was the season, though. That was the season.
That was MVP season.
Big season, wasn't it? Yeah. So that was fun to watch, I guess. But
I've come to realize that he might have been even better than we thought he was because of how bad the offensive line. Like how good they are this year compared to how bad they were in years past.
Yeah.
Like most of those yards probably had everything to do with Adrian Peterson. And they're like, oh, the offensive line, they did great that year. Nah.
It was him. He was really, 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 really good that year. But it is great this year to see that offensive line and not last season I found myself only watching the offensive line. I used to play quarterback, and so I'm always watching that. And if I'm not watching the quarterback, I'm watching the wide receivers and what kind of routes are they. I mean, on the NFL broadcast, it's kind of hard to see what they're doing. But last season, that was all I watched was the offensive line, because if you tried to watch a wide receiver, the play was over and you didn't know what happened because somebody blew past Clemmings and it was over,
Oh, gosh.
What a horrible year. Yeah, and I will say this: I feel bad for the guy. Yeah, it wasn't his fault. They put him in, and he wasn't ready. And
he wasn't supposed to play for like 3 years.
Yeah, and was forced to play, and then looked like a total he looked bad. He did. So I don't disagree with people reacting to that, but that poor guy, he should never have been in there. But this season is so much better. They have been so much better.
I was thinking about it today. I definitely think it was better that they went out and signed linemen through free agency rather than taking them to the draft, just based on how rookies lately have come in and just it's a lot different to play offensive line in college these days than it is in the NFL, and to go out and get Reif and Remmers, they may not be the greatest. Actually, Riley Reif is pretty darn good this year. Even Remmers.
Yeah, Remmers. They both have been really, really.
But yeah, they've played in the NFL before and they know what to do. They've adapted to the game by now, so they know they're up to speed. But even that being said, Elflein did pretty good, and I think even in limited, I think Isidora went in last week for a little bit, and he didn't look too bad either. I think I would actually leave him in over Easton because I don't really see the big difference over the two. So
exactly, and one of them is younger, and you have under team control or whatever. That's like a baseball team. But yeah, that might be the better way to do it at this point. I do like Eason, and I thought he earlier, in the preseason, I thought he played. I thought he was amazing. I thought he played his way. I thought the way he played allowed them to get rid of a bad attitude in the locker room in Boone, and I think that is like, I don't want to say shouldn't be understated, but I mean that's really important to a football team, you know.
Yeah, Boone didn't fit what they were going to do this year, anyways, with the way that they're calling and all that stuff.
Yeah,
he's a big guy, but he's not like super athletic. Like you see Elfline like 30 yards down the field running with Murray down the field.
Exactly. No, and it is cool to watch. I mean, there's a lot of pulling and movement going on, and those screens are fun to watch. Those big dudes get into the open field.
They never did that last year. I don't know why they never did like any screens. Like they were always getting killed with sacks, and I'm like, why don't you guys start throwing screens?
Exactly.
So they stopped.
Isn't that like the automatic like response to too much pressure?
They probably just weren't confident in their offensive line even being able to do that. So
can't blame them really, but
no.
Ugh. Okay, back to Cleveland. After all that,
all right.
Real quick before that, have you seen how bad Matt Khalil is in Carolina?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Glad he's gone.
Wow.
Glad they gave him so much money.
So much money. And he might be gone after this year. Like he is that bad.
Stealing money.
Whew. It must be nice to be that big. You'd be like, I can play offensive line. It'll be fine. Like, cool. $1 gazillion. It's all yours. I don't really feel like playing.
Yeah, Cam Newton's loving him. So
yeah, no kidding. Cam Newton is loving everything right now. That guy seems like he's
especially press conferences.
Definitely just a blast to be around these days. So Cleveland is missing their best players. They're 0-7. Their quarterbacks are horrible. And what is your prediction for the score of the game?
I was thinking about it today. I was going to be nice to the Browns, but probably not anymore because Garrett's out.
Yes, which is
it makes a difference. I think he had 4 sacks in like 3 games, and nobody else on our team had more than 2 sacks. So I'll say 30-6 Vikings.
All right, 30-6. I'm going to go with 28-3 Vikings because I feel like it's going to be about the same. I just don't feel.
For my prediction last week with the Viking age or whatever. I was probably like 2 points off the score or whatever, but I did predict that the score would look a lot closer because the Ravens were going to score a garbage time touchdown. Yeah. And that's exactly what they did.
What they did with no time left. That was unbelievable. Yeah.
I'm sure that ruined a lot of people's days who bet it.
Definitely. I'm so thankful that I never really got into gambling because plays like that, I would definitely have money on the Vikings, and that plays like that I would go nuts. I would go nuts. I wouldn't be able to handle it.
I've only spent money on fantasy football.
Oh yeah, the daily stuff, you do that, or just the season leagues?
Well, I do that now, but I did the league. Some leagues you gotta pay to get in or whatever. But I've been dabbling in the daily fantasy, and it's not been too bad.
Yeah. No, I throw away $30 every year to be in my league, and I'm never gonna do it.
I for the daily fantasy stuff, I've been sticking to like the $2 games, so I'm not like, oh, there goes all my money.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you if you get first, you get $50. So I'm like,
can't go wrong.
It's like a win-win.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. One of the guys I work with, he does the daily fantasy stuff, and he was like 700,000th in this ranking, and he still won like $50. And that was the one where if you had the best one, you would win $1 million.
Oh yeah.
And so he's like, he wasn't obviously not that high up, but he was still making money and that kind of stuff. I was like, oh yeah, maybe I could with some knowledge. I might be able to win a little bit.
I try and stick to the $2 games, and then like 100 or less people.
Yeah. Keep
it's like the top
small.
Like the top 12 makes money. So
that's a good way to do it.
I mostly just make my money back, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'll play. Yeah, make my money back. I'll keep playing. That's fine. I don't have to lose money every day because that is what would wind up happening. Let's talk. Sam Bradford he's not practicing. He is there. I thought he wasn't going to make the trip, or maybe I just made that up, but he's totally there.
He wants to go see the sights.
Yeah. Big Ben, Crown Jewels. I can't blame the guy.
I don't know. I don't even know I don't think Sendejo went. Actually, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
I don't know if he's allowed to, actually.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if he has to stay back.
Yeah.
That could very well be. So do you think Sam Bradford is done playing for the Vikings? with this? Like, do you see a scenario, even if he gets healthy at a certain point, now that Teddy's back, that he makes an appearance?
No, I think he's done.
Yeah.
I think it's done after that Bears fiasco.
Oh, that was so ugly.
Where he was like, "No, I'm fine. I can go. I'm good." And then, like, he just before he could even get sacked, he just falls to the ground.
He literally
like,
fell over before.
like, no, I'll do it.
Him. Yeah, it's like,
I'll do it.
No, don't hurt my legs. Just touch me. Okay, down. That blew my mind. That's when you can tell a professional athlete is in some pain, is when he's like laying down and like just down me, please. Don't sack.
Yeah, and you could tell it was like night and day when Keenum went in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never said that out loud. I actually said that on the podcast. I was like, thank God Case Keenum is in. Were like actual words that came out of my mouth during that game. Never thought I would say that, but I did. It's real. It happened.
Bradford probably, they could have taken him out earlier, and everyone was like, oh, I can't believe they left him in so long. But, like, the trainers were over there, like, after every series. Zimmer was over there asking him, like, you okay? That's on Bradford too.
It is, yeah. It totally is. Because at what point, if he's starting and he's playing, I mean, it has to get that bad before almost a full half and him falling over before it's like, all right, dude, we can't.
I understand you're in a contract year, but you gotta think about the team too at the end of the day.
Exactly. Well, contract year. That dude had how many million guaranteed as a rookie? He was like the last guy to get it. He was like,
yeah. Somebody will give him money next year.
Yeah.
He'll go to like Jacksonville or San Francisco or something.
Yeah, somewhere. Somebody will give him
money. And then
I was listening to the radio today. They were talking about Kirk Cousins going to San Francisco next year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would be
with
really
Cauchy.
interesting. Yep, exactly.
He would fit well over there, but I just don't know about the rest of their team.
Mm-hmm. Do you think if Teddy's healthy, Teddy's the option next year, or do they bring in a Kirk Cousins, or do they go that kind of?
No, I think Teddy will be the guy. Maybe sign Keenum to a 1-year deal or something. He might go somewhere else just because he's played relatively well this year, and he could probably get some money at this point in his career.
Definitely.
While he still can.
Or have a chance to start, even depending on the situation.
Yeah, or they could just sign some Ryan Fitzpatrick guy or whatever to be the backup. But I do think they should draft a quarterback probably within the first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
I think you should draft a quarterback every year, actually.
Yeah, that was I can't remember who says it regularly. Who is it?
I think the Patriots actually do that every year.
Well, because why wouldn't you? It's a lottery. Every year you grab a ticket, and if you get a winning ticket, cool.
Yeah, and then you can trade it away for picks, and how much better is a backup really than a rookie? It's really. Like with a rookie, at least, like the other team has no film on him or anything, and he can just go and do whatever. But yeah, I think they should draft someone. Not to be like mean to Teddy or anything, but I think he kind of owes it to the Vikings to re-sign with them, just because of how they've stuck with him, and they literally saved his leg.
Yeah.
Probably saved his career. So maybe sign for like 2 years, maybe an option for a third. Then
do you see, is it because of his goofy contract situation, is there a possible scenario where it like gets super ugly and he winds up leaving?
No, I don't think so.
Or do you think they just pay him up and like, hey, we're good, let's move forward a couple years? And
based on the way, like, you can see the floating hearts around Zimmer's head when he talks about.
I was just gonna say that.
I don't think that it'll get too ugly.
I agree. They'll make him happy and they'll move forward.
Yeah, they have a lot of cap space too. I think next year they have like $50 million or something.
Do they have any of the because they got Harrison, they got Rhodes. Who's up next on defense that they need to?
Anthony Barr.
Barr. Kendricks would be the year after that, I suppose. Right? Didn't they come?
I think they can give Diggs an extension next year.
Okay.
Because he was in. Was he the same draft class or as Barr? No, he was a year after Barr and Teddy.
Yeah, I think.
But I think they can give him an extension next year. So Diggs, Barr.
We should also, speaking of Diggs, we should talk about, is he going to play? Is he, because he was he participated in practice?
Yeah, he was a full participant today
Okay.
for like the first time in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't really care if he plays.
Well, and
this
seems,
week.
honestly, they seem to be like doing fine without him in there.
Yeah, no, they've got a lot of depth at receiver this year, which is kind of why I think they have so many because of what happened last year when they had Diggs went down for a couple weeks or whatever, and all they had was like Thielen and Treadwell,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, that was end of list.
But no, I think he should just, to be safe, he should probably sit out this week, and they get to bye next week. That's another week. That's 4 weeks. You rest up. It's a groin injury. It's not like a bone injury that heals. It's like you gotta rest it.
Yeah.
So
Allow it to repair itself.
but he's a football player. He wants to get out there. But he said today it's up to, got to talk to Zimmer, so it's not up to him.
All right, well, that's a good sign because Zimmer, I think, will make a good long-term decision there, I guess. I don't know. Trap game. It's a trap game. It's a trap game. Diggs isn't going to play. The defense is going to not play well because they're not jet lag, what have you, and they're going to get destroyed by the Browns.
You know the Browns are flying over there too, right?
It's different for them. Different. Yep, it's a different plane, so they got better. I don't know. I'm freaking out about it though, man. It scares me because everybody in the world thinks they're going to win this game, and
to make things even better, the game is on NFL Network, not on CBS or Fox or anything. It's on NFL Network.
Awesome.
So it'll be watched. So if they do lose, it won't be watched by as many people.
Yeah. Well, I guess that silver lining. I'll take it.
But they're not going to lose.
No, I sure hope not. I would be very, because I got high hopes for this team now with Green Bay in the situation they're in, and I think that they can beat Detroit if they play the way they can play, and I feel like they can, that stretch of games from Thanksgiving to those three. I think those are winnable games. Because that's the Carolina
Lions, Falcons, Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they finished the season against the Bengals, Packers, and Bears.
Yeah. So I got high hopes for this team, and if they lose,
What are they,
this
5
game,
and 2?
5-2, and if they lose
probably
this game,
afford 4 more losses.
all that is out the window. I'm terrified. They can't lose this game
Yeah, but I'm saying they can probably afford 4 more losses.
and still be in the.
Yeah, that gives them 10-6. Mm-hmm. That would probably easily win the division unless Detroit somehow goes on a magical run, which I don't think so because their defense has been pretty bad.
And they've won so many last season. They won so many close games, and they started to do it.
And that's not happening this year.
Yeah, and it can't continue. So that seems like a more practical place for them to be, is in the 8-8.
Yeah, the only teams I could see them. Let's see, 4 losses. At the Browns, no. At the Redskins, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Home for the Rams. I think the Rams are tough, but I think they can win that at home.
Yeah.
At the Lions,
I feel like they should win that game.
they should win it. I'll give that to the Lions. They could lose. They could lose to the Lions, at the Falcons, at the Panthers. That would be 4 losses, and then they would have the Bengals, Packers, and Bears. So if they win,
Aaron
if they win
Rodgers
it-
comes back and destroys, dashes their.
Yeah, when they're 4-10, he'll just come back just to beat the Vikings because that would happen.
Did you hear? He's got 13 screws in his clavicle. That was what he
collarbone or whatever.
Yeah. He's doing a.
Where's the clavicle out?
That
always gets mixed up.
Isn't it the same? I thought it was clavicle is collarbone is clavicle. Is your?
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
not a Twitter doctor.
I'm gonna WebMD that later and try and figure that out for next.
I'm not an NFL Twitter doctor.
Yeah. So. Have you read about? Oof! Yikes, man. Sketchy. I'm glad he's not my doctor. Well, shoot, we've done 35 minutes, man. What do you think? You want to call it until next week? How you feel?
Yeah, we can do that.
Do you got anything else that you wanted to bring up or anything?
I'll probably take a nap after Sunday's game just because I got to wake up because it's on at 6:30 on the West Coast. That's the one downside of living on the West Coast is those London games. Other than that, I've been able
cool.
to. Yeah.
Weather's all right.
Yeah, weather's pretty good. It was like 90 today. So
it is like winter is happening in Minneapolis today. It's like
yeah, I don't miss that. So I went to the beach on Christmas last year, so I'm not coming back to the East Coast. I just live in New York and deal with those weathers, so I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, no thanks. Nice weather. I gotta get out. This is my last one. I've been saying that for 32 years now. It's my last one, so this is it, though. Last one. Well, all right, Adam. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll do this again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Later.